joining us now. I think we got all the buttons pressed, and with an airplane in his office. I love that. Is County Executive Dave Coulter. Hello, sir. How are you?
Scott, I'm doing very well. How are you? I'm sorry, Dave.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm doing fine. We've only met once. That's okay. We met briefly when you were kind enough to come to the United We Walk celebration at West Bloomfield High School on Martin Luther King weekend, and so it's good to meet you. And I appreciate you taking time for us during this crisis to join us on the Megacast. How are you feeling?
I feel great. My health is really good. I get a temperature check every day, so far so good. But I'm also very determined because we have a lot of folks in our county who are not doing well, and that's our top focus right now. And I know what you want to chat about a little bit too.
Yeah, it is shocking, to be honest with you, County Executive Coulter. It's shocking that somehow Oakland County, southeastern Michigan, ended up right in the epicenter nationally of this crisis. Our numbers are high here. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, and it really, in Michigan, it really kind of started in Oakland County. And like a lot of things, we're asking the question why. We have anecdotal evidence, but we don't really know yet. It could be that folks here travel more. But the other thing is, once it takes hold in a community, it's a very fast spreading and easy to spread virus. And so it doesn't take long before the numbers start jumping. And so in that regard, I don't think there's anything unique about Southeast Michigan. New York obviously is going through it, but there'll be other major metropolitan areas across the country that unfortunately will follow our lead.
Well, and I think just a result of us living in proximity to each other here in southeastern Michigan, it's a highly populated area. And, I just from watching this from day one, I want to applaud you and Governor Whitmer and the president. And, we don't want to get political now. We're all working together. But I want to applaud all of you. It seems like you've all, for the most part, really had all hands on deck. And I love what the county's been doing. And one of the things that I think really helped all of us is that map that you put on of the county where we can go in and type in our zip code. When you know what's going on, at least and you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, information is power, and the map has been very helpful. But the map also has its drawbacks, and that is, like I mentioned earlier, so it tells us the what, but it doesn't necessarily tell us the why. So we see that there are some communities in the south end of the county, including Bloomfield Township area, West Bloomfield area, that have higher numbers. And at this point, we can only guess why that is. So we wanted to be transparent. We want people to know what's going on in their community. We wish we could do more to explain exactly what's going on. But part of the reason about putting those numbers out there for people to see is folks in those communities are on the ground. They know what's going on in their communities, and they may be more aware of congregating people, organizations that are still getting together, or just activity that we shouldn't be doing right now. So hopefully those numbers just make us all more aware that it's really in all parts of the county. And if you're in a particular zip code that's higher, you shouldn't panic. If you're in a zip code that's less, you shouldn't let up. We all have to kind of assume that the virus is everywhere in all of our communities and take all those stringent precautions that we need to do right now.
Well, we take a look at the different areas of government, the federal government, the state government, and the county, and then our local municipalities. When I think about the county's role, I think about health, and I think about emergency response. Am I on target? And could you talk about those two areas and anything else that you are focusing on at the county level?
Yeah, and I've mentioned this before. I was a mayor in Ferndale for 9 years before this. The big difference now is we didn't have a health department. So when I became county executive, I realized very quickly the health department reports to me, and I took that responsibility very seriously right from the beginning. And now we understand just how critical these services are. And I have to applaud our health director and our public health officer and all the folks that are just doing a yeoman's job. And this is what they do. The virus is new, but the work that they do is not. We have 4 epidemiologists on staff. Probably most people didn't realize that. I'll confess I didn't either before this started. But I'm very reassured every day that we have some really good public health folks in Oakland County and throughout the state that are helping us navigate these new times.
David Coulter is the Oakland County Executive joining us today in the Megacast. Executive Coulter, we see what's going on downtown at the TCF Center, and we've heard conversation and some news reports that there may be a need for additional beds in Oakland County. Where are we in Oakland County?
I think we're going to be in need of more beds, and I've had conversations with the state. When you talk about where are we in Oakland County, as of this morning, we've had 135 fatalities already. That's up 30 just from last night. We're over 2,500 positive cases. And unfortunately, we're still in the upward trajectory of that curve. So bending that curve and getting those numbers down continues to be our number one focus, because for a number of reasons, but maybe most critically, we don't want to overwhelm our healthcare systems. And I talked with the COO of Beaumont yesterday. I've been talking to our other hospitals, and they're getting near capacity. And if we don't start to bring these numbers down soon, they will quickly be over capacity. And so I do believe that additional beds are going to be needed in Oakland County. I don't think it's a secret that we've been talking about the Suburban Showplace Collection Convention Center in Novi. That is, we've been working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on what it would take to convert that. The conversion isn't the hard part, it's staffing it. Our hospitals and their workers are challenged because they have folks that are in quarantine or positive as well. So getting the medical personnel to operate a field hospital is a huge challenge, and that's kind of what we're working through right now. But we know there'll be a need for it.
Yeah, and we've talked to the first responders on the show because we're mining right down into our local communities. We talk to fire chiefs, we talk to 911 centers here, and they tell us a couple of things interesting. They tell us, maybe it hasn't filtered back to you. They probably has, though. They tell us that they have the capacity to make the calls right now, and they're doing okay, especially the fire departments, but they are a little bit concerned about, as you mentioned, facilities to transport people and to care. One good piece, I always like finding good pieces of news. We talked to the Bloomfield Township Police Department, Captain Dan Edwards, earlier today. Captain Edwards said that the police calls are down. And that makes sense. There are fewer people out there. So at least there's one good thing that's going on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is one of the things I've heard from the hospitals is the silver lining is that other types of patients that they see are down, especially when it comes to trauma. There's less car injuries, there's less, there's less traumatic injuries. And so those areas are down. Folks aren't congregating in bars and things. And so there's a lot less activity, which means a lot less pressure on some of those other areas. And so we have seen a reduction in crime and traumatic injuries and those sort of things. And that is a silver lining to all of this.
Yesterday, Sheriff Bouchard did something very interesting. And, we've all seen robocalls, but he used that technology to call people around the county and then had a conference call afterwards. So it wasn't, from what I understand, it wasn't a recording, but it was a unique way to reach an awful lot of people in the county. Little Bird told me that idea might have come out of your office. Could you talk a little bit about that concept and how did it go yesterday and if we're going to be seeing more of that?
Yeah, as you may know, when I became executive, I started doing town halls all over the county just so I could meet people, get their questions, answer their questions, and that sort of thing. And we had been doing that regularly. Obviously, when this hit, we had to change that up, and the focus became the coronavirus. But a couple of weeks ago, we started doing telephone town halls around the county. We've done two aimed specifically at our senior population because they have different needs and different concerns. But we've also done them broadly in the county. We've had thousands of people on those calls. They've been very successful. We have our health officers on those calls as well so that they can give better health expertise than I can. But they've been very well received. And I think, especially in this day and age where there's so much information and you're not sure what is accurate and what's not, people want to hear directly from credible sources, and having our health department, and in this case last night, the sheriff's department, talking about what they're doing in a very credible way is, I hope it gives some reassurance to the residents that we're thinking through these same issues as they are, and that we hear them and we understand their concerns.
Well, no, I think it's absolutely vital, and it's great, and I applaud you for doing that. And I just want to let you know that we appreciate everything you're doing, and we're doing the same thing here. I was so thrilled that we were able to get WAHS in Auburn Hills WBFH in Bloomfield Hills, and our own FM radio station in West Bloomfield, all to combine forces for 2 hours a day to put these broadcasts on. So we're covering not all the county, we're covering a big chunk of the county every day with this broadcast, talking to the local fire, the local police, the local hospitals, everybody. So I just want to let you know we're out here, we're doing this. You're invited to come on anytime you want. If there are any other county resources, as we expand our reach, feel free to let your administration and the folks in the county know that we're here. If you want to put some of these phone calls on the radio and on community television, we got a great network of outlets here that especially the radio stations are too busy because school's closed right now. So we're putting all this apparatus to work, and I agree with you that getting this information out to people, the honest facts is really helpful, and it's very comforting. So thank you for your effort, and I just wanted you to know what we're up to.
Well, I appreciate that. What you're doing is critically important. Keeping people informed, being transparent, I think helps reassure people, helps keep people from panicking. If I could put in a couple of plugs,
please,
for your listeners. If you own a small business, we now have a new fund, $3 million that we're going to get out the door as quickly as possible. In fact, the application deadline is due Monday, April the 6th at noon. But if you're a small business owner in your listening area, they should go to our website at oakgov.com and fill out. It's a pretty quick application, and we're going to start to review those next week so that we can get that emergency help out to our local businesses. And then the other thing, if you don't mind me saying, is we have also established a hotline for any COVID-related questions. So it could be health-related, but it could be access to food, or it should be what should I be doing about this? And so our Oakland County hotline is 1-248-858-1000. And your listeners can call that anytime, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I believe. And we will get you answers to your questions. So we're here to help.
I know you are. I know you are, Executive Coulter. I really appreciate that. We'll put that number on our website. We have also linked to your resources. The county online resources are fantastic, and we've been linking to them and looking at them every day. I think you're doing a really good job getting this information out, and any way that we can be a part of it, I will. And I want to tell you, I am a business owner. I operate, in addition to doing the show, I operate a business with about 20 employees here in Oakland County, and I want you to know, and I'm delighted to say it here on the broadcast, that the Oakland County Business Development Unit, even before this, has been unbelievably heroic in helping our company, and they called us. They called me. I didn't even need to call them. They called me as all this stuff started developing, and I know that, and that's just not my business. I'm not special. They are doing a fantastic job. We're going to get online and apply for that stuff, and I applied yesterday, put all the paperwork together for the Paycheck Protection Program, and we're going to be working with local banks. Our local bank here in Oakland County, who, by the way, to give you just a nice little plug, I met through the county. You guys helped get business and businesses together. It's beautiful, very helpful. But people are going to go online and apply, and I just want you to know, from a business person standpoint, it wasn't that hard. I went through the form. It was like 2 pages, pretty darn simple. The requests were simple, and we're just crossing our fingers in the business community to make sure that the banks can respond over the next couple of days, and we can get that program and the other programs out. But this unique program you mentioned today in Oakland County is much appreciated.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Oakland County really is the economic engine of Michigan. And it is really vital for us, as we also worry about people's public health, that we worry about the economic health of our county. And so we're going to try to do everything we can to stabilize our small businesses and make sure you guys get through this. So I'm glad to hear it was simple. That was my instruction to them. Don't make this too complicated. Make it a quick and easy thing that they can get in, and we can make these decisions quickly, because we know small businesses need the money now. So that was the goal.
Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, thank you so much for joining us. Tell Bill Mullen thank you for making all this happen, and we will, anytime you need to jump on, just have Bill give us a call, and we'll be glad to communicate with you, and I'm sure we'll be reaching back out to you. Anything else you want to add?
No, just keep up the good work, Dave. Thanks for having me on, and stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Well, there he is, our Oakland County Executive, Dave Coulter.